This was off some guy breaking one. It's quite a rare part. I know it doesn't look, it looks like one of them universal parts, but it's not. It fits the Subaru Legacy Gen 3 really well. I've just stuck some Velcro on underneath so I can get it off. So I had to pick 3 gauges. The 3 most important ones, in my opinion, are your boost gauge, because you need to know if you're going to over boost. If a vacuum hose come off or something like that, your wastegate isn't working, you need to know what boost you're running. That's only my opinion. Also, your next 2, what I've opted for is some Prosport gauges. This isn't the style, this is the other style. I'll show you the one I've gone for later in the video. I've gone for the Prosport Evos, which I think look a little more dated. But I've gone for that on purpose because I think it'll match the rest of the car better. So I've gone for some Prosport ones, and I've gone for oil temperature and oil pressure, because I think they're the most important ones you need to know. Oil pressure, for obvious reasons, if that starts to drop off, especially with it being a Subaru, it'll be game over if I don't notice. And oil temperature, I think the Miller's oil I run says safe up to 135 degrees, so I'll be keeping my eye on that as well. On the road, it's not so much, doesn't matter so much. Another thing I wanted to mention about the oil temperature, the reason I got it, a lot of people use boost or start to put a bit of a load into their car when the water temperature on your dash reaches the middle. That can happen like within a couple of minutes of driving. That does not mean it's safe to put any kind of pressure or any boost through the engine. It's your oil temperature. Your oil temperature can be like 5 miles into your trip, could be 8 miles into your trip. That's what you need to know. That's where the damage is caused. So I'm going to go through that, and I want to open this box up. I'm really pleased with these. You've got a blank, that'll be what it looks like with the power off in the car, just completely black. Let's move that out. I'll show you what you get when you buy these. They're less than 100 quid each, these gauges, which is pretty good. You get, in the pack, you get a power harness, your sensor. I mean, that's the oil pressure one. I've got an oil temperature one over there. I've also got, that's your jumper cable. So in the box you get this like gauge pod holder. I won't be using any of that, I don't think, because I've got this one, so I'll put that over there. You get your data cable, so this goes into the back of your sensor that you get. Put that into there. What I like this, because what you can do is, if I whip that open, you can put that into whatever port you decide to use. I'll show you which one I'm using in a minute. You can put that in, and then it allows you to screw it in before you plug it in. Unlike your analog style ones, you've got to screw it in, and then your whole cable, because it's got oil in it, will have to turn with it. These are quite good because you can just screw that in, plug it in, and you can feed your cable for however you like later. So I'm pleased with that. This is your jumper harness. Your jumper harness doesn't transfer data from gauge to gauge. It will just transfer the power. So you've only got to put power to one gauge using your power harness, and then you can jump the power from one to the other just in the back of this pod, which again, I quite like that. It's pretty good. I think that's it. I think that's what you get in the box. Oh, you get some decals too. Right, so I've got oil temperature and oil pressure. And what I'll do now is, I'm going to show you how I fitted it. I'm going to use an oil sandwich plate. These are a really good idea. Or as they are, I'll pop that out. You put that, you take your oil filter off the car. You put that on where your oil filter was, and you screw this onto the block. So you screw that on. I'm doing it that way because I'm a Subaru, it's that way. But you screw that onto the block. You've got your rubber sealing ring there, and that goes on. Then you screw your oil filter back onto that face. So all it does is taking the pressurized oil out the block. It goes through your oil filter into the rest of the engine, really. And the good thing about this, it's got 4 ports on it. So somewhere around here, I've got the little blanking ports. So obviously I'm only using oil pressure and oil temperature, so I'm going to blank 2 of them off. And a bit of a shout out to Permatex, even though they don't sponsor me. I haven't got any sponsors. This stuff's brilliant. All the Permatex stuff's really good. But this thread sealant, what I'll do is I'll put a little bit on there. It's an MPT thread, so it's tapered thread anyway. Shouldn't need to use any thread sealant. But if I was to recommend anything to Prosport or R-Spec, I think, who sell them, it's that these are cut. They look quite bad. they've got like a flat thread on them, and they're all like that. So if I was to offer any improvements, it'd be that. So what we'll do is get my, for example, oil pressure sensor, screw that into one of these, and then the ones I don't need, blank off, and then we'll fit that to the car. But for now, I've got to go and drop the oil. So I've just put them in there because I couldn't like resist not doing it. That one's a little bit loose, I need to just secure the top. That one's nice and tight. All I've done is put some of the double-sided sticky tape that comes with the kit around it, and that held it really nice and snug, peeled it off on the back, and then just overlaid it with some more like really thick like foam tape. It's not pretty, obviously not pretty. I'll neaten it up a little bit, but I've gone for boost gauge obviously on the end, oil temperature next one in, and then the oil pressure on the end. So that'll be the way I'm looking at them, will be like that. I'm looking forward to getting these in the car and showing you what they look like. So you join me on the interior of the Legacy. I haven't shown obviously where I'm routing the cables really. It's going to be different for everyone's car, but where we are now, if I can show you this, what I've had to do there is take a really neat cut out of the dash, because obviously mine's going to be a dash mounted pod, so I'm going to take a really neat cut there, and I've pushed through my boost gauge vacuum hose and the lighting harness, the boost gauge. What you're also going to have to do, and you could do this at this point without doing anything else in the car, is you see this is the oil pressure sensor line, so I'm going to push that up. You see that I've had to take all the center console out. I'm going to push that up through there and out the top of the gauge pod. I could do it to that one and to the oil temp one as well. This one, I could push both of them up and also push the one lighting harness up, and then I can push them down through here, down behind my glove box and out into the engine bay. Not the lighting harness though, the lighting harness will just mate up with your stereo cables, and I'll show you which ones they are. Right, next, once you've took your oil filter off, which was there, and obviously drain your oil, what I've done is got my adapter plate, the sandwich plate, and then offer it up. Instead I have to be able to show you this, but you can see it's not going to go everywhere. So what I've done, temporarily fitted them where I think they were going to go, and then take that off before I've tightened it all up, and just offer it up. Yeah, and you see if I do it that way, there's nothing clashes of anything. The sensors aren't rubbing against this hot exhaust pipe here, not touching the sump, and that way I can get clean access. Should be good there. Right, I'm going to take them off and tighten them up. Yeah, then we'll be able to feed the cables through. So here we can see the oil sandwich plate attached. Subaru fitment for this one, you can see it's clear on the oil temp side. There's enough room to get the plug in on that side. That's what you want to look out for. That's all tightened up and a bit of thread sealant on it. And I've treated myself to a really expensive plug, but Roger Clark Motorsport sump plug. It's some fancy magnet on there. Hopefully that comes out clean next time anyway. I'm going to put the oil filter on. No, I'm not going to bother showing you that. And then plug them two looms in to where I fed them through the dash yesterday, and I'll just go feed them up through this underneath the subframe somewhere, and then I'll join you back in the car. Okay, so as I showed last time before, we've got the that's the power, that's oil temp or oil pressure, I don't know now. It's only a tour. That's oil temp, that's oil pressure, and then we've got my boost gauge obviously, and then in here what I've done, it's really hard to show you, but it's these three out of this cable here. So the orange, black, white and red. And I've joined them up to my stereo. So my red for my stereo is a switched live, so that goes to the white one. My permanent live is this yellow, that goes to the red one on the gauges, and then obviously my negative's black, which goes to my negative on the gauges. So I've used like a solder sleeve. I think they're really good, and then heat shrinked over them. They should be fine. They're not going to be this like, it looks tight, but I'll pull all them over. This, by the way, all them are redundant. Don't worry about them. Terrible things. That's someone bypassing the original amp. All my nice neat solder sleeves are all there, look. I'm only going to plug the power in for now, because if I got that wrong, there's no point going any further. Come on, power. Yeah. Keys. Please power on. Yes. I really could not be happy with these things. Look at that. They look superb. Should we get them set up? I'll have it green, and then I'll do a bit of a drive, see what they're like. Try and get them up to temperature, up to pressure. I've got to fill the oil back up, and then let's go for a drive. What I did was tell you in the video that I was going to go for a drive, and then not go for a drive because I had other things to do, and that left us with this kind of weather. This is the next time I'm out in it, really, so I wanted to get as earlier impression as I can of these gauges, and it's the fact that I love them. I think they absolutely look mint. There's a couple of things that I saw that I really like about them as well, not just the colour. I've gone with the green, gone both green, and then the Grady boost gauge backlight's green as well, so it all goes quite nicely together. But what I like about it, I mean, I can just change colour up. I don't like the red at all, but the white, not the blue, don't see this colour. But the green and the white looks brilliant as well. Yeah, it's not so much in your face. I'll change it to white at night time. I think that's what I'll do. We'll see, because the green, although the green goes with this, and that's all green, so we'll see. Yeah. So on the left hand side, I've gone for my oil pressure. Good thing to know with Subarus is you should be looking at about 6 bar at 2,500 RPM. I got 6.1, that's good. Anything else, and it means that your bottom end bearings are starting to open out a little bit, decreasing your oil pressure. But yeah, anything over 6 really is good at about 2,500, 3,000. Then the oil temp gauge, gone for the centre one. Really like that. My car seems to rest around 80, which is really strange. It should be about 90, but it's not a problem. Something else I found: if you press the M, the mode, see the PK, the blue light comes on. That's your peak. So that is in your, since you've had the gauges on, it just knocks off there. But if you press it on, peak oil temperature, I found 83 degrees. But you know, if you go on track, you don't have to keep looking at that while you're busy. You can come into the pits, press peak and go, oh, I was running at 95, 100, which again is fine. But if you start seeing high, I think oil breaks down about 130. This particular oil I've got according to the spec, so well within range at the moment. I really like them. I think they look good. I like the positioning of them. Obviously I did have to cut a hole in my dash, which pains me. Really pains me. Just go for a quick blast up here, and then that'll be it. I hope you like them though. I really like them. I think well worth the money. Saves you. Subarus are known for the bottom ends going. So the idea is you know, if it does start to go, and I'll look at upgrading to an EJ207 or 257, I'll be really interested to see your arguments in the comments, to be honest.